Hey everyone, welcome. I'm JD Houvener, owner here at Bold Patents Law Firm, and you have made it to the Bold Today show. This is out of the office, as you can tell. We're out and about doing a little bit of vacationing, as you may be yourself. So as you begin to join in, just a little disclaimer for those that may be the first timers. We don't want to talk about anything confidential here today, but this is a live Q&A session. I am a patent attorney, and I'm happy to answer anything related to inventions, patent law, intellectual property, you name it. So bring it on. I'd love to see those live questions come in throughout this broadcast. So we'll try to go for about 20 minutes, a half hour, if we get good engagement. And if you are joining us after the fact, this is not, after it's recorded, feel free to give us a like and comments and see if you maybe have any other subject matter you'd like to hear about. I'd love to, want to get, do the topics that you guys want to hear about. Today we have a special guest, one of our clients. So they're being brave and they're bold, I should say, to be able to come on this broadcast with me. And he's going to be speaking with us about a topic that is just not going away. These wonderful devices we carry around in our pockets, electronic devices, smartphones. How do we use them better? How do we get more out of them, make them more ergonomic, fit in our life? So Sam will be coming on here shortly, so hang on for that. I will be attempting to answer avo.com questions. So if you're listening from Avo, you can skip forward to the end of the show, but I encourage you to listen in. Maybe some fun content you didn't know you needed. So be glad to have you. Pajush, good to see you. Thanks for joining from LinkedIn. So we are broadcasting across LinkedIn, YouTube, as well as Facebook Live. So we have 3 different audiences. So keep those questions coming in, and we'll and also not just for me, but for our guest as well. Put him on the spot as we bring him on. It'd be good to see that. Okay, well, let's see. So the order of events, we're going to do our guest, then we'll do Avo questions, and then I'll do any live Q&A. Of course, I'll take that as a priority for any of those live viewers. So let me bring on our guest. Introduce him. Here we are. Hey, Sam, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
All right. Well, good to see you. I want to just make sure everybody knows this is a client of ours. He's patent pending. With a very interesting product for an electronic device, but I've got a feeling he's got a lot of things up his sleeve, and he's an inventor, like hopefully a lot of you guys are too. So I bring these inventors on, like Sam, to help encourage inventors that are thinking about it. And Sam, hopefully you can share your story a little bit before we jump into your invention. How did you get started, in inventing? Do you mind sharing kind of your passion story with us?
Sure. So yeah, I've ever since I was a kid, I always had an interest in inventing, taking things apart, learning to use tools, learning different materials, trying to figure out a better way to do something. And it was something that I really kind of, I learned to work and fix all kinds of different things, but I didn't really get into actually making too many inventions until about 5 or 6 years ago when I started getting into 3D printing. And that's where everything kind of unlocked for me. I could take an idea that was in my head and within a few hours have it in my hand. And then, it just became one of those things that kind of snowballed from there. And a lot of ideas that I've been working on in my head or drawings for years kind of started coming to reality. And so, yeah, it just was kind of a process. And now at this point, I have a basement full of all kinds of machines and tools and parts and materials to build all kinds of things.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Well, I'm anxious to see, what you've got. I'm sure people on the line are wanting to see as well. Can you showcase some of the prototypes you're working on? Maybe talk about this one solution that you've had Bold Patents help you with.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'll just kind of give a little bit of the backstory and then kind of explain, and then I'll kind of show a few prototypes. So for many years, I'm a software engineer, and I always I always have cell phones and electronics with me, and I used to just carry my cell phone on my hip in one of those pouches. And after 15 years of doing this, my wife said, that's a kind of a little bit dorky. You should try just putting it in your pocket like other guys do. And so I did that. Except that I ran into a problem right away. Depending on what kind of pants you're wearing, it's kind of hard to get your phone out of your pocket when you need to, especially if you're sitting or if you're driving, whatever it is. And so I thought, well, what if I could just figure out a way that I could 3D print something that would be kind of a little hook, something that would kind of let my phone hang in my pocket from the top of the pocket, and instead of it having to fish it out. So the very first version that I came up with, I don't know if you can see it on the screen. Here we go. I have a second camera here. So the first version of the idea was very simple. It simply had kind of a little simple curved clip and a base that would attach to the phone somehow. And then I thought, well, what if I made it so that you could actually pivot a little bit? And I initially thought, to kind of keep it simple, it would just kind of pivot out and pivot back. But then as I started to develop this into further versions of the prototype, I started to get a little bit fancier with the designs. Again, these are all 3D printed. And then I made it, it can only move to a certain amount. And I wanted to add some constraints to it.
And Sam, real quick, sorry to jump in here, just so you can people wondering the same thing. As you're kind of going through these iterations, are you still working on your own, or are you bouncing the idea off of designers or hiring anybody else to help you with this?
No, this is entirely my own. I've done 3D modeling for 20 years, and so in order for graphic design, so I did it all myself, all the modeling, all the producing, etc.
And you're doing some testing. I mean, I guess what's pushing you to keep iterating? As you kind of showed the different versions here.
Yeah, and so it was using it, and so from the very first one, I would actually put it on. I put it onto my phone and used it for a couple days and see how it worked, and realize, well, you know what, this is kind of cool, but it was kind of too floppy. It was too flimsy, and I thought, well, if I'm gonna have a clip for hanging it in my pocket, I also want to be able to have this kind of work as a stand. But it was kind of hard to have it just be kind of loose. So I thought, what if I figured out a way to add some sort of a detent system so that it would snap into certain positions? And after a few more iterations, I came up with, let's see if I can show it here. I came up with one like this. So this is obviously, I have a lot of different colors and different materials that I print in. Here's one that was iterated a bit more, where it has a few interesting features. One, it kind of snaps into different positions, and it has a ball bearing and spring detent system that keeps it nice and sturdy. So when it's on the table, you have it resting on the side, rested this way, you can adjust it to different angles for viewing if you want to view it on the side. And again, I'm going to show you on my phone on the final one here in a few minutes here. So I was able to think, well, this is great. But as I was using this, I realized that, well, it's nice that it can go in this direction, but that limits the angles that I can put it on the table or put it on a surface. And then I thought, well, what if I add a second pivot that lets it pivot in a different direction? So I came up, here's a newer version that also has the same pivot here, okay? But it also has a secondary pivot that lets it pivot to the left and to the right as well. So now, when you have all these pivots in these different directions, it can actually work as a stand on almost any surface for any angle, if you're sitting down, standing up, on a shelf, etc. So it's a pretty slick system. And so here's an example of it actually on one I have on my phone. And the way it attaches to the phone is it uses a new type of very thin. It's a type of Velcro. It's called Dual Lock that lets you easily remove it. So I can pretty trivially remove it from the device, and then simply it snaps back on. But what this lets it do is now it can go as a stand in lots of different directions. It can go like this. And it works really well. And so that way it just hangs in your pocket like this, hangs at the top of the pocket, makes it very easy to pull out, has a nice little finger grip here that is nice and smooth. Originally I was going with a motif of kind of like a stingray, but then my wife, she was looking at it one day and said, I hold it like this, and she said, hey, that kind of looks like an elephant. So that's why it's called the phone trunk. So that's why my tagline is, does your phone have a trunk? Because you can see it kind of has a little bit of the head of the elephant, you have the ears, you have the trunk, and of course that moves in different directions. So
that is so cool, Sam. I love it.
Yeah.
Very neat. Thank you for showing that process of iteration, how you got to the point to where you're, really satisfied with it.
Yep.
And obviously at that point, audio there. Yeah, it looks like you're ready to get that filed. And what's cool about your non-provisional you got filed is it's not, you're not locked into one exact functionality.
Exactly.
There's a lot of different options when you draft a utility patent application. As I'm sure Randy and those that helped you with the application, it's we're going to protect this one version that you're hoping to go to market with now. And then
Exactly.
other versions as well. So talk to us about if you're going to be going to market, what's your plan to sell?
Yeah, so at this point, I'm considering the licensing route, primarily because I have several other inventions that I'm working on that I want to be able to focus on those as well. So not necessarily looking at the production route for this. Looking for someone who has all the right pieces, all the right tooling, all the different all the channels that would make it to sell something like this. The one nice thing about this is that it's incredibly, you can customize it. You can see all the different colors I've shown. And one interesting feature I didn't mention earlier is that the actual clip here that is used, and this is the clip that works for the that works for hanging on a surface, and it works for a pocket, it works for like a bag, works any place to grab it. And the design is a progressive tooth that it works for thin materials, for thick materials. But the cool thing is that even at the top here, it uses a standard binder clip, which those come in lots of different colors. You've got them in the silver, you got them in, obviously in the black. They have different color ones. Here's one that's in purple, and those can actually be customized a little bit too. So anyway, yeah. So for me, I'm looking for an opportunity of someone who has everything else that I would need for licensing purposes.
Excellent. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you for showcasing that. And so if anyone needs to get hold of you, is that the best way? The Sam at acmegeek.com? Is that the best contact?
That is correct.
Okay, perfect. Well, and I love the phone trunk, and hopefully that would be the name as it goes forward, even if it gets licensed out as well. I think that's an awesome name. I think every phone deserves a trunk.
Exactly.
Or a frunk, for that matter, right? We've seen a lot of those with the electronic cars coming through Teslas. So cool. If you guys have any questions for Sam, keep them coming. Sam, I will put you backstage for a little bit. We'll keep you there. I'll try to answer a few of these awful questions that have come in. Again, thank you for being with us. We'll have you on in just about 5 to 10 minutes, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, well, good deal. Well, thanks for those comments there, Rajneesh. Good morning from Lucknow, India, and Jan Ostendorf out of Jacksonville, Florida. Good to have you guys with us on LinkedIn. And keep those likes coming. I see one like from Facebook too. So if I can, I'm going to try to go through, again, I'm on my mobile device today. I'm going to try to pull up some avo.com questions that have come in this week. I did see a couple of trademark questions. So let me jump into that one here, and I'll copy this, paste it into the comments, and see how much of it you guys can see. All right, so here we go. Comments. More, post a comment. All right. So I have not screened this question before. I wanted to jump into it live. So can I sell panels made from different or French Italian wine printed panels and labels, cigar boxes and beer caps? Trademark problem? Okay, might have been some more stuff before that. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Okay. So can I sell panels made from different French Italian wine printed from the labels? I retired and I'm thinking to create a different product from panels and trays to sell as a woodcraft using different used printed woods from wine panels or wine labels. I wanted to print on the back of the product that's reused or recycled material. Will any trademark or copyright issues come up? Oh, interesting. Okay, so they're wanting to repurpose the wood or the panels or even the labels in a different construction. I'm trying to see if I missed what it is they're actually making. A different product. So they want to make panels and trays with labels from cigar boxes and caps and that kind of thing. Okay, so I think I understand. The question here is it going to be a confusingly similar use? Okay, trademark law is specific to the type of use. Okay, so let's just pick cigar boxes. Okay, um, so if you know, let's say ABC Cigars. Sorry to keep such a simple, you know, name, but ABC Cigars has got their label, right? And you've purchased their cigars, and you're going to repurpose the box. You want to use that box for a tray, okay? And you want to maybe even sell that tray. The question is, you know, are you competing with ABC Cigars by selling a tray, okay? And the answer is probably not, okay? So you're probably not going to be, you know, confusing the market of people purchasing trays, confusing that with someone who sells cigarettes or tobacco products. So in that vein, I think it's extremely low, you know, confusion in the marketplace. So I think it's an extremely low risk. Um, Certainly there is a technical, okay, copyright issue. If you're taking any words or images that are on that box, let's say they hired a photographer, or if they've got a specific type of imagery, or poem or saying or slogan, if you're going to be using that on your products, yeah, technically there is a copyright infringement concern. And if you are going to be selling that using the slogans, using the wording and the images, yes, you would need to get permission from that copyright owner. That's the legal answer. The bigger, kind of more macro question is: do you think, as the the one selling these panels or reconstructed structures and crates of sorts, are you looking to go big? Are you trying to sell millions of these articles across the world? Or is it more like a kind of a hobby? You want to sell it to some kind of friends and family or local community? And if it's the latter, it's not worth the hassle. You know, trying to go through the hoops and trying to become completely 100% legal in terms of the copyright and trademark risk exposure. But if you are going to be selling online and you want to make a big run at it and go for it, it is probably something to make sure you cross that wicket and get that copyright information all cleared up. So hopefully that's answer your question. All right, keep those live comments coming. I'm going to pull up one more question here from Avo. Okay. So a lot of trademark questions have popped up. Okay, I'll pull this one up here. We may just do this one more. Okay, I'll go to comments. And for our YouTube group, it kind of splits up the comment in a bunch of pieces, so sorry about that. Okay, so here we go. All right, so here's the question. Does a screenshot of an email or Instagram page work as a service specimen for a US trademark? Based out of Chicago, Illinois. We're applying for a trademark on yoga services with the USPTO. Does a screenshot of an email or Instagram page work as a specimen for a US trademark? In some cases, then what needs to be included? If yes, well, what needs to be included in there? The name and logo of services offered, what prices need to be listed, it would be sufficient to say. Good. I think, and so I want to just caveat this with the fact that I am a patent attorney and I don't spend a lot of my time working on trademark cases. We have a trademark attorney here at the firm that maybe will answer some nuanced questions related to specimens. I do know that, I mean, the law of trademarks says you must demonstrate that you're using the name or the word mark or design, whatever you're seeking to get registered, in commerce. You have to go prove that you're using that actual name or the mark for the sale of goods or services. And so I'm pretty certain that you would need to demonstrate, on a website. And certainly a screenshot of the website would work, as long as the examiner could pull up the same site themselves. I think it'd probably be wise to include the URL of that screenshot. And if it's using the word, let's say, Leaf Yoga, right? Leaf Yoga Studios, if that was your term. And Leaf is the actual word mark. If LEAF, Yoga Studios, if that's spelled out and if that's in the description on that website, on the screenshot, it's offering services. I think even better yet, if there was actually a price included, right? Or some sort of terminology around, hey, you can hire me for this service if you click this link, if you take some action, if you call now, and here's our contact information, right? A very clear specimen showing that it is for sale. The services of Leaf Yoga are available on this website and through commerce. And that would be sufficient in my understanding of the trademark law. So thank you for that question on specimen. Okay, if anybody has any live questions, I'm going to make sure to take those up front. So please make sure to put those in the comments. I do have time for one more. I'm going to see if I can find a patent question. A lot of people are going to ask me about trademarks. Here we go, I got that one. Okay. This question is out of Houston, Texas, and this will wrap us up here. Okay, all right, so let's see here. Can I create a patent or sell a hair conditioner that has 70 to 80% of the same ingredients as another brand? And I'm currently creating a hair extension care, but I'm using a lot of the same ingredients as other name brands. My question is, how close to the ingredients can I get without infringing on the other brand's products? I want to brand, patent, and sell my hair care product. Okay, well, a few things going on here. Let's talk about infringement first, okay? And so having good information and knowledge about what is involved in products that are competitors is a great place to start. And so if your new product is going to be using part of or aspects of another product, that right away should tell you that if they have a patent on that formula, which actually would be quite rare, because it's, compositions of matter, while they do exist as patents, it is very challenging to get those, especially for mainstream consumer type products. But let's assume that there is a patent on this particular type of conditioner. The first step would be to hire a patent attorney, okay, to go look and see what is included in that. What are the specific ingredients, what are the specific types and amounts and quantities that are included in that patent. Just because there are 10 things in that conditioner doesn't mean that all 10 are in that patent. For example, it could just be one, likely not, but maybe like 1, 2, or 3 ingredients in that set of 10, and it's a combination of those 3 that they may have a patent on. So just because you're using a part of 70% of that conditioner doesn't necessarily mean you're not infringing that composition of matter if they're combining elements that have not been combined before. Right, for example, water or glycerin or some sort of very simple kerosene or some sort of common element. That's likely not going to be part of their patent. But there are 3 elements, let's say, finely tuned gold flakes, old crusty stevia leaf, or something else that's interesting, right? And it's got some sort of benefit or functionality that they've proven to the patent office that there's utility there. So let's kind of take that in stride. I mean, if, for example, so it does start with research, okay? If you want to know whether your competitor has a patent, that is probably the best place to start. And that'll inform you on 2 fronts. One, is your product different? Okay, does it have additional elements or different percentage or a concentration of those elements? Is there a different process or method in order to make your product that yields a different result, right? It's a different end product based on how it was made. All the things will kind of come into account. So first find out, research if those products you think are similar, is there a patent on them? So if you can't tell from the bottle, it should be clearly labeled what the patent numbers are, if there are any. And if there are no patents labeled, and you've worked with a patent attorney and they can't find any patents on it, then you're likely free to operate. Okay, you're likely free to have and sell without fear of being sued by that specific company. Of course, there are always risks of other companies having rights on products that may not be in the marketplace yet. So in order to get a patent, okay, you not only have to avoid infringement, but you have to demonstrate to the patent office that you have new and non-obvious compositions of matter, right? A new element, something else about your product that has never been done before, and is not an obvious version of something else that's come before it. So it's quite a hurdle to clear. So hopefully that helps you with that. Thank you for that question. Pujish Gupta, yes, you've got a question. I'll take it. By the way, I'm not a doctor, but I appreciate the gesture. Well, I guess wasn't a Juris Doctor. That's nice. Thank you, may I request your opinion on AI? I'm not familiar with what the bus being recognized as an inventor, both by Australian and South African patent offices. Um, Meanwhile, I take this opportunity to congratulate Sam for his devices, his magician devices on device technology in regards. So yeah, kudos to you, Sam. So artificial intelligence, I believe, is the question. Um, oh, interesting. Oh, you're asking about AI. So a non-human inventor. I love this question, and I don't have a good answer. I owe you an answer. I might make this the topic of next week's session. So for those that aren't familiar, there has been an effort to create AI, artificial intelligence-based, robots, computers, for lack of another word, that are inventors. And they're based on data. They can research and pull and use machine learning and make incremental improvements and hypotheses, and can actually become inventors. And the question before the patent office in the US, I think, is does an inventor have to be a natural human person, or can it be a machine? And I don't believe there's a concrete answer to that, but I'm going to research. I love the question, and I've taken a note on that to get back to you. So thank you for that question, Pajus, sorry. Okay, let's bring Sam back on to wrap things up. Sam is patiently waiting backstage, if you will. Sam, how are you?
Very good.
Good. All right. Well, you got some nice kudos from overseas, from Mr. Gupta there on your products. I'm sure he's not the only one, but we all appreciate you coming on and sharing your invention.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
For sure. Well, Sam, if you wouldn't mind sharing just a couple words about your experience with Bold Patents here as we wrap up.
Yeah, the thing about Bold that was awesome is the communication was it was right away, very personable. I didn't feel any pressure, and they explained all the steps of the process. It was very clear. I didn't have any doubts. I didn't really have anything that wasn't unanswered. It was just a very smooth process. So.
Thank you very much. I appreciate those kind words, and Sam, we'll definitely bring you back on. I want to hear how the royalties are going, right?
Exactly.
once you get that license deal made, we're going to get you in touch with the best referrals we have. But we are not the only answer. If anybody's listening that has a nice avenue and someone who may be interested in taking a license on a device like this, please let me know. Please let Sam know. I'll put his contact information here after we get done going live. So for Bold and for all of us here at the firm, we thank you for joining our live stream. I'm here every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific and noon on the East Coast for the Bold Today show. Take care, everybody. Go big, go bold.